Well, hello guys. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about color. So today in Minecraft we have more color options than we've ever had before. With the new Nether update we have so many blocks, and with terracotta and concrete the options are almost endless. And sometimes it can be a little daunting or a little hard to break out of our habits. And so I just want to talk about two tactics that I use to discover new color palettes. So tactic one is use colors that are next to each other, and they call these analogous colors. So these colors, like let's say I use yellow, orange, and red, those all share a lot of the same color tones and temperature, and so they go really well together. Now opposite would be if I was to take colors from across the color wheel. Those are called complementary colors. I don't know why they called it that. I didn't name it that. That's just what they're called. And complementary colors are much more dramatic, really contrasty, and they can create a more striking build if you want to make more of a statement. And you can use these together as well. And I think this is important because, let's face it, this is done to death. This has been done so many times, and it's a great look. These blocks go great together, but it's not very original, and I think we can do better. So this here is a block palette I used in a build on my Let's Play world very recently. And the way that this started out was with an andesite block. I basically looked at this block and kind of examined it. And, usually I would describe andesite as a gray block. But if you get in there and you really take a look, there's a lot of purple and blue. And so what I decided is to take the andesite block and its polished variant, and this color here I thought matched really well with light blue terracotta. And so these blocks, plus the basalt, which shares some of those same color tones, these are all analogous. They all share a lot of the same color temperatures. Now, I wanted to offset that a little bit with a contrasting color, and I really like the turquoisey color in the soul lantern. And so I found a block that has some of that teal from the lantern, but it also shares a lot of these blue-gray colors with our basalt and our andesite. And I feel like this color palette here, it's very refreshing. It has a very cooling kind of feel to it, and I just thought it looked really nice. So let me show you a couple of examples of how to discover these kinds of connections. So here we have birch, and then we have some black and white concrete. Well, if you take a look at birch, and let's say I was to replace the black with purple, there is a tremendous amount of purple in birch, and you wouldn't really notice it, but once you put purple next to it, it really starts to pop, and it adds a lot more interest. So here is a great example of how a block that we normally consider to be black and white actually does have some color information and can kind of inspire some different block palettes. Another example here, we have spruce logs, we have stripped spruce logs, and we have spruce planks. And that's a pretty safe combination. Spruce in all of its forms goes together because it's all spruce. But if you were to replace these with, let's say, some green terracotta, notice how green the stripped spruce logs suddenly look. And it's because there is some green in there. And when you put a green block next to it, it really brings attention to it. And it's a completely different feel than just spruce on spruce. Now, if we want to do complementary colors that are contrasting, like we have here, cyan and magenta, one thing I recommend is find a block that contains both of those colors. So here we have cyan, magenta, and then this block has both of those in it. And so it helps kind of tie those two contrasting colors together and makes it feel a little bit more uniform. Similarly, if we look at orange and purple, two totally different colors from opposite sides of the color wheel, if we were to find a block, like let's say magma, that contained those two colors, this here is definitely the same color as nether brick. And then these oranges, they go really well with the red sandstone and with like the shroom light. So that is a really awesome way to tie two blocks together that you wouldn't normally think of using. And finally, I've got blue and yellow, and this is, of course, gold and lapis blocks here. And you'll notice a lot of superhero costumes, they use blue and gold or blue and red, these really contrasting colors, and it's because they are very dramatic, very striking. And the same deal, I found a block that contained both of those colors. And when I used that with these, it creates a really very kind of fun and nice vibe that you could use in a build where normally you wouldn't think those two blocks could go together. They definitely do. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope this inspires you to maybe revisit some blocks that you had dismissed or thought that maybe you could never use. And I encourage you to go into a creative world and plop some blocks down, maybe look at the colors up close and put some blocks together that, you hadn't considered before. And it's really fun to find combinations that you've never used or get inspired in different ways. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.